الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله. استغفر. Inshallah, after the remaining dua, a short English program will be taking place. All brothers are requested to participate. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wal aqibatu lil muttaqeen was salatu was salamu ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. اللهم ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك اللهم إنا نسألك من خير ما سألك منه نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ونعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذ منه نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وأنت المستعان وعليك البلاغ لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله النبي الأمي الكريم أما بعد فعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم إن العبد ليتكلم بالكلمة من رضوان الله تعالى لا يلقي لها بالا يرفعه الله بها درجات وإن العبد ليتكلم بالكلمة من سخط الله تعالى لا يلقي لها بالا يهوي بها في نار جهنم رواه البخاري رحمه الله تعالى. Respected elders, respected friends, mothers and sisters listening at home, the series of ahadith we are discussing, and this is the second part of it, is the series of ahadith in which our beloved Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam is giving us this message on how to build a peaceful, harmonious community, a good community, where we can eradicate this community of problems, of unpleasant things, of unpleasant events. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has gave us steps. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has gave us advices. And our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has gave us a role model example to follow. And if we bring these qualities, these steps, these advices into our life, into our community, then on an individual level, on a community level, we will see the improvement. We will see the betterment and we will see the advancement. So last time we talked slightly about the tongue. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said about the controlling of the tongue and how dangerous the tongue can be, and how the tongue, despite being so small, can wreak havoc and can break relationships and can break families and can break communities. So about this very tongue, in this hadith which we are discussing in this short time today, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam gives us a very, very deep message and something to be really worried about. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam says, Innal abda la yatakallamu bil kalima. A person says something. So bil kalima is a word or a phrase, a sentence, a statement. So a person says something min ridwanillahi ta'ala. Firstly, a person says something out of the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, i.e. to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Something good. And then the nature of this statement is la yulqi laha balan. A person doesn't pay any attention to his statement. यानी आदमी जो है, कोई जो बात कहता है उसको कोई बड़ी बात नहीं समझता है, सिर्फ कह जाता है, लेकिन वो बात अल्लाह को खुश करती है. So a person says something which pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he doesn't give much dhyan towards it. He doesn't pay much attention towards what he said. He said something good. But because of that statement, what happens? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises him in millions of ranks. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevates his status many times. So something he said, something good he said, something good he's uttered, because of that, remember, he didn't pay attention. He didn't mean to do something good with that kalima or with that statement. He just said it out of, something that came to his mind and he blurted it out. But it pleased Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because of that good statement, that good word, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will elevate his ranks. So what can this good thing be? It could be some advice you've gave to someone. Okay, something you've said to someone to motivate someone. And what this did was, this statement of yours this advice of yours, these words of yours, it caused an instant change in that individual's life. So now we understand how one statement led to a change in a person's life, and because of that, whatever good he does for the rest of his life, you will be reaping the reward of that, because you're the one that gave him the motivation. Once Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, the great Sahabi, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, he was walking past, and a youngster by the name of Zadhan, first Za then Za, so Zadhan al-Kindi. So this youngster, he said about himself that Kuntu ghulaman hasan as-sawt. I was a youngster and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me with a good melodious voice, so I used to sing. So I used to gather people, I used to gather with my friends, and whenever there was a gathering, they'd call me to sing. So his voice, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gifted him, was being used for the wrong. So Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu went past one day and he heard this youngster singing. And look at subhanallah, we talk about hikmat, we talk about wisdom. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu made a simple remark, a simple sentence. But sometimes because of that sentence, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala works in mysterious ways, and it goes a long way. So Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu heard him singing, and he said to this youngster that لو كان ما يسمع من حسن صوتك يا غلام بالقرآن لكنت أنت وأنت. That, oh youngster, Allah has granted you such a beautiful voice. बहुत ही खूबसूरत आवाज़ है आपका. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted you a very melodious voice. Just if you'd utilize this voice for the Quran instead of singing. So just if your voice would be put into good use. Instead of singing, you use this strength of yours, you use this quality of yours to your advantage, and you use it for the glorious Quran. So this could be said for anything. A person, he's skilled. So instead of using his skills, in worldly things or different things, just if his skills could be utilized for Islam, just if his ideas and just if this person could be utilized for the right, then he would be an asset for the community. So Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu went past, just said it out of advice that, youngster, you've got such a great voice, just if you could use this voice of yours for the Quran, and he went away. This youngster, Zadhan al-Kindi, says, this sentence of Ibn Mas'ud penetrated my heart. And فَأُلْقِيَ فِي نَفْسِي التَّوْبَةِ. This is ikhlas. This is ikhlas of Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, that this sentence of Ibn Mas'ud penetrated my heart, and at that very moment I made tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I gave attention to reading the glorious Quran and perfecting the glorious Quran. So one statement changing someone's life. This is what the tongue is for. The tongue is to be used for good, for motivation, and to gain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another example, a person uses his tongue to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says something which really, really pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. An example, again, we find in the time of the Sahaba, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, a Sahabi by the name of Rifa'a ibn Rafi' radiyallahu anhu, he says that once behind Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, we were offering salah in congregation. And in salah, I said, according to some narrations, after Sami Allahu liman hamida, we say Rabbana walakal hamd or Rabbana lakal hamd, which means we are praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this Sahabi added a sentence, and he said, Allahumma lakal hamdu hamdan kathiran طيبا مباركا فيه مباركا عليه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى. Outwardly simple. Oh Allah, I praise you excessively, kathiran, طيبا, the purest of your praises, mubarakan fi, blessed praises, كما يحب ربنا, how you please and how you wish. So this is what he said when praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After Salah, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, he turns to the congregation and he says, Manil mutakallimu fi salah. Who was that individual, who was that Sahabi that said something different in Salah? So he says, the first time I didn't say anything, the second time silence, the third time silence, because he thought he did something wrong. So he thought he's going to get into trouble. So he stayed silent. Then the third time when no one said anything, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, don't worry, you're not in trouble, you've done something good. Who said these words? It was at this point, this Sahabi Rifa'a ibn Rafi' radiyallahu anhu, he raised his hand and he said, "O Nabi of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, it was me that said these phrases." Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, this phrase of yours, okay, in which you praised Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it was so loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so valued by the angels, that لَقَدِ ابْتَدَرَهَا بِضْعَةٌ وَثَلَاثُونَ مَلَكًا أَيُّهُمْ أَسْعَدُ بِهِ. 30 odd angels are racing and competing and fighting with one another, that who can take this praise of yours and present it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's how beloved these phrases were which came out of the mouth of this Sahabi. So you use your tongue for the good, okay, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will raise you in ranks, in statuses. But on the flip side, the second part of the hadith, which is very, very worrying and very, very a great warning for us, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam says on the same line that وَإِنَّ الْعَبْدَ لَيَتَكَلَّمُ بِالْكَلِمَةِ مِنْ سَخَطِ اللَّهِ. Sometimes an individual utters something which displeases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person utters something which brings the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala dislikes. Again, لَا يُلْقِي لَهَا بَالًا. He doesn't give much attention to it. He just says it as it is. Okay, it comes in his mind and he blurts it out without thinking. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, because of that one utterance, because of that one sentence, يَهْوِي بِهَا فِي نَارِ جَهَنَّمْ. He falls into the depths of the fire of Jahannam. Because of that one statement, which he didn't even think it was something big. One narration says he falls so far into the fire of Jahannam like the distance between the east and the west. So sometimes this could be an utterance of disbelief. Okay, an utterance, something, many a times in moments especially where our emotions are out of control, moments of happiness, sometimes moments of grief, moments of anger, okay, we say something against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, against the Prophet, something against deen related, something against a pious person, a scholar. We say something, we don't think we've said something big, but because of that we land ourselves into the pits and the depths of Jahannam. Similarly, not only disbelief, many a times we say something which could be a lie, okay, something we say out of a joke, okay, something we spread or we share on WhatsApp or social media just as a joke. We think that it's just light-hearted humor, but that message or that picture or that meme or whatever it is making a mockery of deen. It is making a mockery of the Quran. Then because of that forward, because of that share, because of that statement, you do not realize you just did it for some banter and you've landed yourself into the fire of Jahannam. Sometimes maybe you've said something, okay, and you thought you're joking with someone, but they didn't like it. Okay, you don't know how sensitive someone is. You don't know which remarks hurt someone and which don't. This is why we're told not to play with fire in the first place. So you say something to someone, and they may not display with their emotions, but inside they've been killed by your comment. So sometimes because of statements like these, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, you land yourself into the depths of the fire of Jahannam. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said once that individual who lies just to make people laugh, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam gave him bad dua 3 times. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, وَيْلٌ لَهُ وَيْلٌ لِلَّذِي يَتَكَلَّمُ بِالْكَلِمَةِ مِنَ الْكَذِبِ لِيُضْحِكَ النَّاسِ. Woe be to that person, destruction be to that person, यानी वो आदमी बर्बाद हो जाए जो सिर्फ लोगों को हंसाने के लिए झूठी बात कहे. Just to make people laugh, he lies. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, wailun lahu, wailun lahu. 3 times Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, may this individual be destroyed. So we must be very careful, okay? We can, obviously Islam gives us the permission to have humor, to joke around, but we must make sure that we do not hurt someone. We must make sure that when we do joke, we do not lie, and we must make sure that we do not belittle deen, or we do not belittle anything to do with deen. So all this comes around controlling the tongue. All this is about controlling the tongue. Every morning when a person wakes up, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam says that the a'dha, the limbs of the body, they all take an oath, they all pledge the tongue. And they say to the tongue every morning, in istaqamti istaqamna. अगर तू सीधी रही तो हम सीधे रहेंगे. व इन इवजजती इवजजना. अगर तू टेढ़ी हो गई तो हम टेढ़े हो गए. If you are straight, as in if you do not do anything wrong, then we will be safe. However, if you, the tongue, does something dangerous, then the whole body is in danger. Therefore, the tongue, again, the same message Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam is telling us to control the tongue. We must make sure whatever we utter, they say very beautifully in the Urdu language about speaking that tol phirbol. So tol means weigh. So before you speak, weigh your words. Okay? So think, don't just utter. Think that I am about to say something delicate. I am about to say something which could go both ways. I am about to say something sensitive. Tol phirbol. First wait, see what the effect of that will be, and then say that thing. The second thing we learn is never underestimate any minor thing. Okay, sometimes like the hadith says, La yulqi laha balan. You do not pay attention to that thing and you just say it. So never underestimate. Sometimes something which we underestimate in the first case could go a long way in our Jannah, or it could go against us in securing Jahannam. And the third thing is we should always remain vigilant. We should always remain careful. If we have uttered something or we felt we've said something which has displeased Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, immediately we should make tawbah. And if we've said something which has displeased someone else, or we think after we've gone home that I said this, okay, he didn't really show emotion, but maybe it did hurt him, so go back to that person and get it forgiven by that person, so that we do not land ourselves according to the warning which is given by Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all the tawfiq and the understanding. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil